Hello and welcome to Thursday's programme.
Coming up tonight between now and 6:30.
Good evening. The parents of a 14-year-old girl from Torquay who died after being put under general anaesthetic for a routine MRI scan are calling for changes to hospital procedures to prevent others suffering a similar fate.
Alice Sloman died 3 days after the appointment at Torbay Hospital last month. An inquest is due to be held into the exact cause of her death in the coming weeks. Nick Smith is outside the hospital for us this evening. And Nick, take us through what happened. Next tonight, police in Plymouth are trying to trace a driver who was involved in a hit and run which left a pedestrian with serious injuries.
Our reporter Sam Blackledge is at the scene of the crash for us this evening. Sam, what more do we know now?
Next tonight, the legendary singer and songwriter performing in Exmouth later this month, who's using his shows to raise money for people using food banks. Glenn Tilbrook, the frontman of the band Squeeze, plays a solo gig at Exmouth Pavilion on November the 25th.
Well, his appeal comes as new figures from the Trussell Trust show almost 60,000 food parcels were handed out across the southwest between April and September this year. Here's Kevin Ashford.
Well, as we heard, the charity that Glenn Tilbrook is supporting, the Trussell Trust, says the number of people using food banks has risen sharply in the last year, blaming problems with the universal credit system.
Now you are watching ITV News here in the West Country with Kylie and Jonty, and we still have plenty more to come before 6:30.
And after us, the ITV News continues with the national and international stories at 6:30. Alistair Stewart has the details. But first, some other news from across our region, and there will be no trains between Newton Abbot and Exeter St David's tonight due to heavy storms causing waves to crash over the seawall at Dawlish.
Staff and volunteers at Paignton Zoo are coming to terms with the sudden death today of their male giraffe Yoda. The 14-year-old northern giraffe was found collapsed this morning, standing at more. Now to the new research which shows rising mental health issues among teachers and education professionals right across the southwest, with large numbers considering leaving the job due to high workloads.
The study, one of the largest of its kind, was carried out by the Education Support Partnership and calls for much more emotional support for staff working in schools, as Matt Price now reports. Part of the ancient city wall in Exeter has been put on the Heritage at Risk Register. Now, almost 10 years ago, we lost Harry Patch, the last fighting Tommy from the Great War, at the age of 111.
Harry was a veteran of the Battle of Passchendaele. He began his army training in 1917 and was recruited in the Duke of Cornwall's Light Infantry. For years, he was the only living connection with a generation of men who fought in World War I.
Well, their lives, of course, will be commemorated this weekend as we mark the 100th anniversary of the end of the war. Before Harry's death, he spoke to ITV News about his memories of the trenches and the soldier he would never forget. More recollections from Harry Patch on tomorrow night's programme.
Well, the names of two brothers from Orliscombe who died in World War I are finally side by side on their village war memorial.
One was always there, the other was originally missed off, but the mistake has at last been rectified. It all came about when their medals turned up in an auction, as Bob Crees now explains.
Now, veterans will lead a special remembrance event in Exeter tomorrow evening to commemorate the centenary of the Great War. It will include music, artwork.
And that concert is taking place tomorrow evening. Now, next tonight, the two young gymnasts from Cornwall tipped for future Olympic success. Oliver Piper from Torpoint and Nyla Evely from Millbrook are about to represent Great Britain in the Trampoline Gymnastics World Championships in Russia.
The pair train at the City of Plymouth Gymnastics Club, where our sports reporter Carrie Davis has been to meet them.
Feel a bit nauseous.
Yeah, I bet they're amazing when they go to those trampolining centres with their mates and just bounce along, show
Brilliant,
off. I'd like to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Right, it is weather time now. Charlie's at Killerton House for us near Exeter. Charlie, lovely scene there. How's it looking as we move towards the weekend? Oh, OK, Charlie, thanks very much indeed. Now let's remind you of the main headline here in the West Country this evening. And the parents of a 14-year-old girl for changes... Oh, apologies, those are the wrong pictures there we were showing you. They're calling for changes to hospital procedures to prevent others suffering a similar fate. Alice Sloman died 3 days after the appointment at Torbay Hospital last month. Torbay and South Devon NHS Foundation Trust say they're continuing to investigate the death and will involve her family as part of that investigation. That's it from all of us on the programme. I'll have the late news at 10:30.
But now I'll hand you to Alistair Stewart as the ITV News continues. Have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.